'cause I love this land. It takes my breath away.
Welcome back to Texas 10. I'm Melissa.
And I'm Steve.
And we are traveling across Texas. Today we're going to take you to a county in the central portion of Texas, Bastrop County.
Bastrop County. They're all great counties. Bastrop, we love, don't we?
I really do love Bastrop. I've gone there quite a bit. It's got a great downtown, and it's not far from Austin. In fact, we just talked about the highway 71.
Right. So
Austin
you take
and Bastrop.
71 east from Austin. Actually, if you fly into Austin, it's a straight shot from the airport, which is on the southeast side. So it's really easy to get to from Austin, but it's still Bastrop. It's not Austin yet.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area, and I'm going to start with it. It is an area. It's the Lost Pines, the area of the Lost Pines. They had a tragic fire. It's been maybe 10 years ago.
12 years ago. It was a big deal.
It really was, because there was just pine forests, and they weren't supposed to be there. It's kind of a mystery.
Right. So I did some research on this, and they call it an arborist mystery, because these pine trees, the closest genetic matches to them are 160 miles to the east. There's a lot of the pine trees in far east Texas, and nobody really knows why they're there, but they are, and they were at risk. Many of them burned, but they're hardy because they're back.
Yes. Well, it's a fun story about my life. When I was a little girl, we were studying tall tales, and I wrote a story about how the Lost Pines got to Bastrop.
Well, did you solve the mystery scientifically?
No, but it's a tall tale, and I love it. I had a cowboy that roped them and placed them in the Bastrop area.
Okay, we'll go with that.
So we'll go with that. But there's some great things to do. It's a beautiful area. So let's start downtown. One of my favorite places in downtown is Maxine's on Main.
So we often talk about diners and whatnot, and the diners and cafes, they are close to our hearts. And Maxine's is a leader amongst those.
Well, before we started this project of going to all 254 counties, we were taking the Texas monthly list of best diners and small town cafes. And that's one of the reasons we first went to Bastrop many years ago, was to go to Maxine's on Main.
And it was a good reason. And they have great lunches too. So start your day there. And I will say the culinary scene in Bastrop and Smithville, which is also and Elgin, which is also in Bastrop County. There's a lot going on there. And we've talked about Austin. Let's go ahead and invite the elephant into the room, which is Elon Musk is bringing a lot of industry to this area, and a lot of high-paying jobs, all the things that go with it, a lot of California attitude, all the things that go with that.
It's good.
It's good. Well, the food is great.
The food is amazing. If you go over to Smithville, they have some amazing restaurants, and you don't expect it. It's a tiny, tiny town. Just really, really good.
And this is Texas 10, so we don't have time to talk about all of them, but I will say, if you go to our website, texas10.com, go to the Bastrop County Field Guide, there's a good guide to all sorts of restaurants, high-end to more affordable.
The oldest barbecue.
Well, I was getting to that.
Sorry, I'll let you go. Go ahead.
So what is the oldest barbecue?
The Market. South Market.
Southside
Market.
Southside Market in Elgin deserves a special shout out, because it is the oldest continuously operating barbecue market in Texas. And there's a reason they've been there since 1883. So make sure to get your fill at Southside.
They're good. So, and going back to Smithville really quickly, there is a really beautiful shop with, if you want to do home decoration, that kind of thing, beautiful furniture. But really, there's this beautiful mosaic mural on the side of one of the buildings. And it's one of my favorites.
It
It's
is
really
one of
very
your
cool.
favorites.
Yeah.
You remark on that often.
I do. Every time we go through there, I'm like, oh my gosh, there it is. It's still there.
Right.
So let's go back to Bastrop. So we talked about the restaurants. They're great. There's also, we tripped on this little spot called the Copper Shot. Steve loves his bourbon and that kind
Whiskeys
of thing.
and alcohol.
And it's a
I love
distillery.
alcohol.
And we went and we got the greatest tour and the greatest story from the proprietor of the Copper Shot.
All right, so Copper Shot Distillery, it is a thing you have to do if you're in Bastrop,
Yes.
even if you're not a big alcoholic like me.
He's not an alcoholic.
Okay, even if that's not really your fancy, take the tour. That's the pro tip.
Yeah.
Is take the tour. Stephen Tottle is the owner. He and his wife did everything to build this thing, and his explanation of what you have to do to get a distillery up and running and how they accomplish it. He's an engineer. He was worked in the oil industry, the petrochemical industry, so he knows a lot about fluids and all the rest of that stuff. But his tour and his personality, and then the decorations. They've got a great little area outside where they have live music. Mm-hmm. They have a speakeasy type bar with a cigar sort of motif to it. It is awesome. So Copper Shot Distillery, #1 on my list of things to do in Bastrop County.
Just the restoration of the building and the story of the building and the people behind it and the stories of his family. Right. It really was one of the greatest little afternoons.
Right.
We spent an entire afternoon with them. And I actually am not a whiskey drinker, but I loved every minute there. It was really fascinating and fun.
And every time we go through, I get some pecan shine and mix it with amaretto, which was his, and it's a great little drink, especially in the winter. So again, shout out to Copper Shot. But then the other thing, again, go back to the website. There are little distilleries and breweries, not the big Tito's sort of thing, but they are scattered throughout the county. There's a lot like Dripping Springs and that area, Driftwood. It's also over, and so you could have a great little tour just driving the country roads. It's so pretty.
It is beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. And you could do that, do your tastings and whatnot. That would be a great weekend.
Yeah. Well, and there's also a neat little bookshop, the Painted Porch Bookstore. We love bookstores, and this one is a really good independent bookstore. Mm-hmm. So I say, get your book, get your pecan, what's it called? Pecan shine, and then go to one of the state parks and just lay out your blanket.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. I don't think you're supposed to bring the alcohol into the state park.
Well, bring your book, bring your blanket, and some food from Maxine's.
Right,
there you go. That's the ticket. But there's Bastrop State Park, and there's also, I can never pronounce it.
Yeah, I think it's pronounced Boucher. Boucher. I don't know if we're in Louisiana. We're moving that way, but it's Buescher.
And they're not huge state parks, but they are great. Well, they're beautiful drives. They're beautiful for hiking. I had a great day. I had my dad and Stella, and we just wanted to get out, and we went and ate at Maxine's on Main, and then we drove through Boucher Park, and he was so happy.
It was
beautiful.
Great. Then the other natural area you have, the Colorado River runs right through it, and it's a place where it's wide and deep and very easy to kayak.
Yes.
And so there are all sorts of kayaking companies, stand-up paddle boards. You can rent that. You can do that for a day.
Right in the middle of town, too.
Right there, right in the middle of the town. There's great bridges for us photographers that like the bridge over the river picture, that sort of stuff. So all of that together, Bastrop County. One of the things that they picked, we don't usually recognize chain hotels, but the Hyatt Hill Country Lost Pines was one of the very first of the high-end but in nature sort of places in Texas, and they picked a great place to do it. They also have a great golf course, so there's good golfing there also.
So the guys and women like to play golf, but you can also go to the spa. I mean, I shouldn't say just women. I mean, you could have a couples massage, whatever. But Lost Pines has all of that. And it's just a beautiful area. It's a great place. It's centrally located where you can go spend the afternoon. Bastrop is one of those places that a Saturday afternoon or even a Sunday afternoon, because a lot of their restaurants and stuff are open, I would say go to Bastrop, enjoy. It's not a bad drive, and it's just fun. And what do you want to say about Texas 10, Steve?
Okay, so again, Bastrop, we've got all the information there. I know this was a short primer course on it, but you can get all of the stuff at texas10.com. You can find out hours, locations, make reservations, that sort of stuff. Read a little bit more.
Oh, and about the history. It actually has a very rich history that we really haven't had time to touch on, but you can get that on the website too.
Right. So go to the website, look at all that, and then please, if you would subscribe, like, share, comment, do all the social media things, particularly if you're watching on YouTube. We'd love for a subscription there. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, at Texas 10. All of those is our handle. And tell a friend about Texas 10, and you go out.
Hit the road with Texas 10. We hope to see you again.
Bye.
From the Palo Duro to the Gulf Coast Plain, from the heart of the hill country to the piney wood shade, I love this land. It takes my breath away.